Hello everyone. In today's short video, I will be talking about utility overcharges, why they happen, and what to do about it. Now, my experience with clients is that 7 out of 10 organizations are being overcharged by at least one of their utility companies right at this very moment. And by utilities, I'm talking about not just gas and electric, but it also includes water, sewer, phone, cable, internet, and waste disposal. Now, who gets overcharged? Well, the short answer is any organization that's not paying attention. Manufacturers, nonprofits, schools, hospitals, churches, municipalities and government facilities, assisted living facilities and nursing homes, farmers, apartments, and homeowners associations. Now, 70% overcharged is a large percentage, but the real questions are you one of the 3 paying the correct amount? Or are you one of the 7 who has been overcharged? And how do you find out which group you're in? And we'll talk more about that in a moment. But first, some perspective. We should all appreciate our utility companies. They're not really our enemies. They're made up of good people just like you with great mission statements, and without them our lives would be miserable. We would freeze to death in the winter. We'd suffer heat and thirst in the summer. We'd live around large piles of garbage and waste. And we'd communicate only with those within shouting distance. And you can just forget about that iPad. Now, even though they do all these great things for us, they do make billing mistakes. Here's a small sample of typical utility errors. In 2009 and 2010, Dominion, Virginia Power overcharged 2.3 million customers by $123 million. A Tallahassee RV park owner was overcharged and ultimately rebated $5,600 in sales tax overcharges. A Gartner Group study found that 80% of U.S. businesses have errors on their phone bills that are never found and never reported. The Black Earth Utility, over several years, overcharged the Wisconsin Heights School District by more than $300,000. And in Sarasota County, Florida, first they overcharged water and sewer customers for plumbing inspections that were never performed, and when discovered the error, they sent out utility refund checks to the wrong customers. These kinds of errors and overcharges happen every day to all sorts of organizations. And why? 3 main reasons. Reason number 1. The system in which utilities are sold and paid for is complex, and its constant changes in regulation, taxes, technology, fees make it difficult to have 100% accurate billing. Now, this also includes the role of the customer in finding and reporting errors on their bills. Therefore, billing mistakes are made that add up to billions of dollars in overcharges. Reason number 2. Most customers do not or cannot take the time to learn the details of exactly what rates, taxes, exemptions, surcharges, fees, and quantities are right for them to pay. And they don't have the time to work with utilities to minimize costs. Now let me ask you a couple of questions. The first one is, which of your utilities do you audit for proper charges? Organizations do all kinds of audits. There's safety audits, compliance audits, quality audits, financial audits. Well, why not a utility bill audit? After all, utilities can make up 10%, 20%, 30%, even more for some organizations, of their operating cost budgets. But if you answered none to this question, you are in the vast majority of businesses. Second question, how do you verify the utility bill accuracy that you're paying before you pay it? More on that in a moment. But I just want you to keep that question in mind. Here's reason number 3. Even if a customer knows exactly what they should be paying, most do not know how to interpret the industry language contained in their bill and therefore don't know what to challenge. Okay, so here's an example of an industry language barrier. Bills are coded into tariffs in the case of gas, electric, and water, and USOC codes, which stands for Universal Service Ordering Codes, that govern the telecom bills. Understanding these codes help a business to ensure that they are paying the proper amount. Now let's take a look. Here's a typical electric tariff statement. Well, how many people know what an energy efficiency charge is or should be? How about a nuclear decommissioning cost adjustment? Or how many can figure out the demand charge and whether or not it's right? The answer is probably very few. Here's another example. This is a typical telecom bill. Remember earlier I spoke about what people do to verify their charges before they pay them? Well, this is what a lot usually do. They take a look at this number, and if it's close to what's been paid before, they write a check and pay the bill. But the secret to understanding what you're being charged is in pulling the customer service records. Customer service records are going to show each USOC code. How many people in your organization know how to interpret these codes and how it relates to the bill that you're paying? Again, the answer is not many. So let's review the 3 reasons why organizations get utility overcharges. First is the complex and changing nature of the utility bill cost structures. Secondly, customers don't or can't take the time to ensure correct billing. And the third reason, utility industry language is difficult for most to interpret, so they can figure out what their bill is and should be. In addition to that, here's an uncomfortable truth about utility billing overcharges. First, like anything else a customer buys, the customer is responsible for ensuring that they are paying the right price. It is not the utility's responsibility. Another uncomfortable truth is the statute of limitations for recovering any utility overcharge is 3 years in most states and up to 4 years in others. This means that every month an overcharge that occurred 3 years ago that month, say, can never be recovered by the customer and will forever belong to that utility. So what can an organization do to recover error money from the utilities and end future overcharge leaks? Have a regular utility audit performed by an expert to find out if you are due a refund from the last 3 or more years and to help lower your utility costs going forward. Now, your organization would benefit from an independent utilities audit that includes the filing for refunds and savings. Now, the good news for most will be that you can get an expert audit done at no cost using very little of your staff's time. The auditors only ask to share in the recovery, if there is one, to cover their costs. Now, to schedule a consultation, go to www.utilityBillAnalysis.com and fill out a brief form there, and someone will get back in touch with you very shortly. Well, thanks for listening. That's it. If you found this information valuable, please share it and like the video below by clicking on the thumbs up below. Also, check out an additional video on our channel that explains what to expect from a utility audit, and watch other videos for more ideas on how to reduce business operating costs.